Unpublished podcast. My name is Amy.
I'm James.
And today, actually, I'm going to hand this straight over to James because, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what we're talking about.
Oh, that's like a kind of a first. Like often I'm the one who doesn't know what we're talking about.
That's true.
Amazing. So I want to talk about this idea. I can't remember where I saw it on the internet, but it's like people cannot understand that you would pursue something for 5 years without making money or 10 years without making money. Like they cannot understand it, especially for some reason for art. And I don't know what, and I think there are multiple facets to this, but what I was originally thinking was that, muggles, when you tell them what you're doing, they can't understand it.
Yeah.
But also people who want to do it, it can be a really intimidating, hurdle to get past, going, fuck, might have to do something for 10 years and make no money. That sucks too.
Yeah.
But like muggles really go, oh my God, like you're writing a book.
And it's not going to make you money straight away
and
or not at
exactly,
all. Yeah.
Or, you're trying to become an actor and you haven't made any money yet. What? And I think almost it's not, we talk about this a lot, like people either committed to misunderstanding you or maybe they're just like really just so confused because they just couldn't think about doing that themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a topic that I think is really important to talk about, and I don't talk about it enough. This idea of like money and art and the fact that we need to get comfortable, with not always making money from our art. And then the reason why I find it uncomfortable is because for me, when I came into this space, I wanted to talk about making money with my art because for me, that was the narrative that I was trying to rewrite. And I thought that, I was never going to be able to do that. And so it's been really important for me to heal that relationship between money and art and understanding that my art is worth money and can make money. But at the same time, we do also need to discuss these kinds of things, which is that, like for a lot of us, either we don't want to make money with our art and we need to find space for that to be okay in a world where money is very central, and the idea of doing something, dedicating so much to yourself without the eventual purpose of making money is really hard for some people to comprehend. Or during the apprenticeship phase, which can last, many, many years, we don't make money as well. And again, people find that really, really hard to comprehend.
Yeah, and just as you were saying, the apprenticeship phase is the thing. It's like, for some reason with art, unlike, we can do a university degree for 5 years and no one's saying, oh, well, why aren't you making money as a doctor yet? Why? That's
such a great point. No one's looking at you in med school being like, so you're just
You're
learning?
a med student, you idiot.
You're only learning to
so
be a doctor?
So they don't even let you do real doctor stuff. When are you going to get a job?
So what hospital are you working in?
Exactly.
But when you tell someone you've been working on a book for 3 years, it's like incomprehensible that you would spend so much time doing something that doesn't make you money, and that is so, I don't know, there's something about art that triggers people into like a complete meltdown, and so often we're just misunderstood and people stare at us like we're fucking insane.
Yeah. Like, the classic question for actors, oh, would I have seen you in anything?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, would I have seen you in anything? Would I have seen your would have I seen your accountancy in the accountancy book of accountants? Idiot. Sorry, I know I don't want to be rude to these people because it is hard. Like it is. I mean, I get it. Like it's not something people are exposed to.
Well, we are all exposed to the same narratives, right? Which is that art isn't something that you should really put your time into unless you're going to make a lot of money from it.
Yes, and it's just, why can't we? Why wouldn't go up as well? Sorry to keep pushing this point, but you wouldn't go up to someone in the gym and be like, why are you working out 5 days a week?
Yeah.
You're not going to be a professional bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Or like, when am I going to see you on the bodybuilding stage? It's like, oh no, I'm just doing this for my health.
Yeah.
Or like, or even if you're someone who's like, I really want to become a professional bodybuilder, but they didn't say that out loud and they just told someone, I'm going to the gym 5 times a week. Then no one jumps to, or when are you going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I mean,
they just like, oh, you're going to the gym.
Yeah.
Just going to the gym. It's like,
there's something about like looking after your physical health, which doesn't have to equate to finances.
Because I guess it's seen as like something that's beneficial to the rest of your life anyway, just by the virtue of doing it. But so is art.
I mean, creativity, and that is like why we're here. Like, humans are so innately creative, and when we are only consuming or only following rules and set patterns, like when we don't create, we are not well. Like creativity is so important, and we need space, and we need to rewrite the narratives that allow us to say, oh, you know, I write every day, and at the moment it's just for me, it's just for fun, and for people not to be like, oh, you know, we need to eliminate that confusion from the narrative, and it needs to be okay and good that we're doing this.
And I even want us to not just eliminate the confusion, but imagine if when you told someone, oh, I'm doing something creative every day, they were like, that's amazing, like that is going to be so good for you.
Yeah, like so good for your soul.
So fulfilling for you, so good for your soul. Well, you just lost a nail.
I know.
And it's going to be something that you know, I wish that when I told someone that, they were like, fantastic, like you're on the path, like you're doing something.
Well, you're doing something so good for yourself.
Just like when you have a friend who's like, yeah, I've decided, you know, I've managed to stick to going to the gym for 3 months. And you're like, that's incredible. Well done. That's amazing. Like, that's so cool.
What do you think it is? What do you think about, what is it about creating an art that has such a funny response from people? Like, what are we triggering in ourselves? What are we triggering in other people that makes us want art to be seen as financially beneficial, that we want art to seem productive?
Well, I think for one thing, people aren't used to doing anything that doesn't seem like it has an immediate reward.
Noticing.
So it's like, even in the university example, that's still seen as something that's like, you're still getting your grades, you're still getting recognized by the system.
You're going to get
some kind of kudos from society. You're gonna get, like it seems like inevitable, and it's much less a risk. I think people can't conceptualize of doing something that doesn't have immediate reward, and it's seen as high risk.
We were having a conversation about this the other day, about how art is one of the only things that we do, especially our long form projects, that don't have because we were talking about how do you trick yourself into feeling good at the end of each day, because we have such long-term goals, and art is one of these beautiful, you know, sacred spaces where they do have a really long tail. Like, it does take a really long time to like finish and complete projects, and I think you're right, to the world that we live in now that's obsessed with productivity and it's obsessed with results right now, that it's hard to understand something, you know, that either doesn't have a desire to be productive in any way, or that is just going to take a very long time to get better at or to be completed.
I mean academic work also can fall into this as well. Like, you know, I don't know exactly what the figures are, but you know, Einstein worked on relativity for 8-9 years or something while he was a patent clerk. Once again, I'm a little bit hazy on the history, but you know, people would have been going like, why is Albert locking himself in his room for 9 years? And
can you imagine the people that'd be like, so have you figured it out yet? And like,
have you got tenure at your university yet? He's like, actually no, I'm not at a university. Like, and you're working on physics?
Yeah,
idiot.
I mean,
this character who calls people idiots is really coming out today. I don't know where they're coming from.
This character that
from me, yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know.
It's a muggle.
It's the muggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this idea that we threaten people because what we are doing seems risky, right? And also it seems so rebellious because we dare to seem like we're not chasing productivity. And I think that seems like a risky thing to do. You know, when you see someone who isn't chasing productivity, who dares to, do things for the joy of it, who dares to...
But also, like, it's also bullshit because I am chasing productivity. Like, as in, like...
I was speaking.
I know you were, but you were speaking too slowly. So I want to get my idea across.
Okay. Go. You've forgotten it now, haven't you?
Yes.
Have you?
Yes.
What was it? You can't just interrupt me. I was like on the flow.
Yeah, but I wanted to take you in a different direction.
But I didn't want you to.
Well, too bad.
What were you going to say?
Well, now I feel awkward.
No, come on, hurry up.
Really?
James. I'm not in the mood. I'm tired.
Okay.
Hurry up.
What I'm doing is productive.
Right.
I'm doing something extremely productive every day. I'm writing for an hour every day, like that. I never feel more productive when I'm doing that. So, like, the idea that what I'm doing isn't productive is laughable to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see that perspective. I understand. I mean, art is incredibly productive because it's incredibly useful and generous and beautiful in this world.
And I feel like saying to someone when they're like, if their reaction is, oh, you know, why don't you do something productive? It's like, honestly, from my perspective, when have you ever done anything productive?
Brutal.
But, you know, so much of what human endeavor is just making like small efficiency changes in like,
yeah.
Think about, most startups are like, how can we make booking a contractor 5% easier for you? That doesn't seem productive to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I like the perspective of what's more productive than making art. It's literally productive because like we are creating something from nothing. An incredible, the most creative experience, the most productive thing is you're literally producing something from nothing. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. It just seems super productive to me. Yeah, which is interesting because I don't think it is perceived that way.
No.
It's perceived as
frivolous,
childlike, you know, maybe wistful or like a bit delusionary.
If I spent 1 minute writing one sentence out of nothing, that to me is more productive than anything else I could do that day, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in its essence, it is. I really like that definition. Yeah.
And, you know, all of human civilization is built on us having weird ideas.
Yeah.
Or having ideas that have come out of nothing. You know, do you think that democracy was invented by, you know, rigid structural thinking about what we already had?
Yeah.
It came from the aether.
Yeah.
You know, it was like we had no idea. We didn't have a concept of proportional representation, and suddenly it was like, bam. You had to come up with a crazy idea.
Yeah.
What if all, I mean, of course, you know, Athenian democracy wasn't super egalitarian, but what if all landholding men of a certain wealth were allowed to vote on what we did?
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that was a rigid idea of democracy. And it was only by people imagining in the inclusion of other people from nothing, basically. Like, getting out of their own headspace as the privileged white men.
Yeah.
Only other people from outside that could create the idea from nothing to have a fully proportional democracy. That is productivity.
Yeah.
Coming up with how we live, everything to do with society, the way everything happens is an invented rule that came from nothing.
Yeah, I like this.
It's ultimately productive.
I like this perspective.
And art comes from the same place.
Yeah.
And all of those things are influenced by people who make art.
Yeah. I like this.
I don't know if I articulated that perfectly, but like the idea makes sense in my head.
I know, I understand what you're saying. And it's exciting. And I think this is something that we should all like really ground ourselves into and when we're challenged by people who don't understand, or when we're challenged by people who have a commitment to the idea that art is unproductive and art, you know, has no purpose, like that we actually we sit beneath all profound change that is happening in this world. And even if we can't understand how, and we can't recognize, you know, how we're going to make that impact, like what we're doing is profoundly productive and profoundly important for our world and the way that it changes and the way that it morphs into something new and better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think every time someone challenges you and questions your commitment to your creativity, your commitment to your rebellion, when anyone challenges you in that way, it's a really beautiful time for, first of all, you know, feel whatever you need to feel. It can be really overwhelming. And I think a lot of the times your central nervous system, you know, whacks you into fight or flight. I know for me that happens a lot when anyone kind of approaches me with like some bullshit narrative about creativity. I often like really fight or flight. But even if you can't, you know, be there in the moment afterwards, you know, it's a real amazing time to just to contemplate these kind of things and to recognize what you triggered in that person and to understand a little bit more deeply actually how important it is that what you're doing is, and like how counter-narrative it is. And like I think these moments that are really, you know, seemingly very difficult with people who misunderstand us can also be, you know, really fruitful places to consider just how important it is that we're doing what we are doing.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously this isn't for everyone, but thinking maybe next time someone talks to me this way, just trying to explain to them what the process actually is, like an opportunity to educate people on what it is to be an artist and what it's like to be an artist. Like, I know it's painful, and I know this isn't always going to be the right choice, but like
it could be sometimes. Yeah.
It would be great. I think, you know, often people are just lacking the words and the terminology to understand us.
Yeah. And they are, you know, they will be creative too in so many ways. And when we can shed light on what it is that we're actually doing and how important what we're doing is, you know, that's incredible and could start, you know, a whole new thing for them.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about, so from the other angle is, and we've already touched on it briefly, is this idea that you wanting to be an artist, you are going to have to deal with the pain of, I might have to commit to something for 5-10 years and not make any money from it.
Yeah.
And I think that can also be like, if you can find it in yourself to do that, you're ahead of 99% of people.
Yeah.
Which is a huge advantage.
Huge advantage. Huge. And obviously, like, this 5 to 10 years that we're throwing out there, like, it's arbitrary.
Of course. And sometimes it happens much sooner for people. Sometimes it happens later.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah.
But getting comfortable or even, like, joyful about the idea that you're going to make art and it's not going to have a financial return for a bit. because of the apprenticeship phase, because of, you figuring out how you want to impact, how you want to receive money in return from your creations. Like there will be times when you're not making art, not making money with your art, and like how are you going to sit with that? You're going to be okay with that? What stories do you have that need to be rewritten so that you can move through that phase gracefully and without beating yourself up? And because if you can last it, that's where you will find the most success, because so many people don't want to move through that stage.
Yeah. And it could be, obviously it can be exhausting and tiring, and it's like, yes, it is. I mean, from the other side of the coin, from the other perspective, it's understandable why people get confused about us wanting to devote this much time and energy, because it is, from one perspective, or you could be spending your time doing something else. It's an opportunity cost, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to write for an hour a day. It's an hour of the day when you're not spending time with your family. It's an hour of your day when you're not, I don't know. No, I don't use my AirPods, GarageBand. It's an hour of the day where you're not going to the gym. It's an hour of the day where you're not working on, your uncle job. Maybe trying to get a promotion or something and create a better life for your family. But, from the same perspective, art could be all those things too.
Yeah. And obviously, more. And like something a little bit mystical and magical.
Your hour you spend on your art could make you more present with your family when you're with them. So it could be, in the end, and then they benefit them as well.
Showing an example and it will make you feel like a better person.
Could make you happier at your uncle job.
Yeah.
Could eventually help you to step away from your uncle job if you don't like it. Like there are all sorts of things that it's so much more of the risk to not do it.
Yeah, I love this. I love coming home to this truth that it's way riskier for you to ignore your creative calling than for you to chase it.
And what if you just had the attitude as well of like, this is my gym workout for the day.
Yeah, I really like that.
This is the healthy thing I'm doing for my body.
Yeah.
And not only is it the healthy thing that I'm doing for my body, it's something that me 5 years from now will be really glad I did.
Yeah. This makes me think of my dad. We've had my dad, Steve, on the podcast a few months ago, late last year. And he, since moving back to Australia from the UK, has integrated this practice every morning of writing poetry. And I feel like to him, it's a real, like, it seems like almost like a gym workout. Like it's something for his soul. It's like journaling almost.
Yeah, he gets up first thing in the morning. He goes and sits out on his deck and he writes his poetry.
Yeah, every day.
Actually, no, he goes into his office, doesn't he?
He moves around.
He moves around.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's his start to the day. And that's how I feel when I get up. I get up, first thing I do, get out of bed, and I go down to the cafe and I write for an hour. And I feel amazing. And I'm so glad. And when I don't do it, just like when I don't go to the gym, I don't feel as healthy.
Yeah.
When I don't write, I don't feel as healthy.
Imagine if we lived in a world where like we were as obsessed with, like, we are obviously a very health and fitness focused decade of the world, and like we've really, like, everyone's like, oh, what do you do for exercise? But it's like, what do you do for your creativity? Like, how cool would that be if we lived in a world like that?
I mean, I guess, like, mental health is obviously now a big focus.
Yeah.
And what if I feel like people haven't realized the benefits creativity can bring to that.
I agree.
And people don't realize that it can be like, so all these people who are walking around, they're like, I wish I could write a book. I wish I could, I could be in a play. I wish I could draw something. It's like, well, you can't. It's like, imagine if that was just one of the ready tools. Like, oh, you're feeling depressed at the moment.
Let's draw.
The classic thing is always, try exercise more.
Yeah, it is.
Get some stunts. What if it was also, why don't you try and get in touch with your creative side?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's any research on this, but I'm
pretty sure there is.
That it would be very beneficial to a lot of people.
I mean, we have a lot of things like drama therapy, and like there's research behind it. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it a lot.
And I think just these ideas that, because it is scary of going, well, I might commit to something for 5 years and I might not make any money out of it, or might not become a professional. It's like, well, what if you could see all the amazing benefits it's going to have to your life as well?
Yeah.
And that's only going to help you to do it more, and then increase your chance of becoming a professional and making money from it. So it's like, it's beneficial to both.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking about how much easier it is for me to explain my journaling practice than it is to explain the fact that I write fiction every day. It's so interesting.
I know, people are like, oh, right, okay, yeah, no, I get it. You're working through your,
like, your emotions,
your mental state, versus like, oh, you're writing
make-believe?
a book and no one's, I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's just there's a lack of understanding there. Sorry, to go back to our first part of the conversation. I've just been reflecting on the fact it's so interesting as someone who constantly shows up and talks about creativity. Like, it's literally every moment of my day. But when a muggle comes at me and says something like, oh, you're self-published, or something like this, like, I cannot for the life of me get into a place where I can speak about the importance of what it is that we do. Like, I just crumble. Like, I'm immediately in fight or flight.
Because you know that they feel so right in their own...
They've already got their worldview, and I'm like...
They think the world is about, you know, the banks. It's about building roads. It's about, you know, it's about anything you can touch and feel. Although, let's face it, a bank isn't anything to do with that. For some reason, they think it is. And creativity is some kind of like dandy thing that Renaissance people did.
Yeah, the idle rich.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
You just know you're not going to be able to change their mind.
Yeah, and I find it very hard. It hasn't happened to me recently, actually. I'm trying to think if anyone... Oh, the other day, we were asked what we did at the gym. It's so hard, like, getting asked what it is you do for a living. I'm just like, oh my God. And then immediately my mind's like, okay, who is this person? I start assessing them. I'm like, what's going to be the easiest answer for me to tell them? So the other day, Brett asked us.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, fuck, what does he need? And I'm immediately trying to like customize myself so that he could understand us in the easiest and cleanest way possible. What did we say? I think we said content creators.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, and you know, this is a really valid way of answering the question, what do you do for a living? Because sometimes we just you don't want to change someone's worldview. You just want to protect yourself. But it is interesting for me that's still something I really battle with it.
I don't know. Going back to my experiment, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but I have tried not to lie at
James
all
has
for the
not
last
been
2
lying.
weeks. It's really hard. I reckon you're better off telling the truth.
Yeah, but what do you say? Because being a creative is such a nuanced thing.
Just let them be confused. I think it's either don't engage at all and just say, oh,
well, it's not a lie.
It's complicated. It's complicated. Or I know it's not a lie saying you're right. It's not a lie saying you're content creators, but I think
we're making right now content.
True, but I feel like it's
an evasion.
An evasion.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. I mean, I'll try sometimes and just go straight out for author. I'm an author.
Yeah.
But then you almost guaranteed will get
the annoying question. Yeah, I know.
Where can I, or like, oh, would I have, the big one, where would I have seen your book in a bookstore?
Yes, that is, yeah. Jeez, we just need a mass education program, right?
I know, it's so funny.
Can like YouTube just make everyone watch a 1 minute video of someone just being like,
don't ask actors
what
movies they're in.
Yeah, exactly. And I know. Anyway, I just want to bring it back to this idea that at its core, it's just like we have a inability as people, as humans, to think about working on something for 5 years without getting paid for it.
Yeah. And we need to sit with our own biases there. If you feel like you're sitting with, like I've got a really big problem with that. Like, what are the problems there? And what are the narratives that make you feel so uncomfortable?
We're not saying you have to be and of course, like, we're not saying be full-time at something and don't get paid for it for 5 years. We're saying, work on a little, people can't even think about spending half an hour a day on something for 5 years they're not going to get paid for.
Yeah.
Unless it falls into a broad hobby.
I don't know, man. It's complicated. We have so many stories around creating.
You know what's hard about this podcast is that we start a topic and I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
And then like we talk about something. We don't have to, so we get to talk about something for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and like at the end of it, maybe we'll just be like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's just like, this is an idea I had on Wednesday, and I want to talk about it with Amy on Thursday. Therefore, now you're all listening to me talk about it, and it might not go anywhere. So I'm sorry.
Nah, as always, guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you guys have any insights in this topic, we'd love to hear it. I apologize, my energy levels have been low today.
Yeah, it's reflected in the sound bar.
Oh my God.
Look at your sound bar.
Shut the fuck
Your sound bar looks like
up.
This big, and my sound bar looks like this big.
I'm tie-tie. Amy tie-tie. All right.
Maybe it's because I'm a bigger person. Maybe it's like a recording of how big we are as people. I'm
a big gal. I got a big voice.
Yeah, but are you this big? Points to bicep.
Points to bicep. All right, guys.
I'm done with him.
I'm pretty cooked. And I need to go sit in a different room to James for like 10 to 15 at least.
Fair enough. I wish I could sit in a different room to me.
Oh,
Joking, I love me.
I love you too.
Okay.
All right, we're grateful for you guys. Thanks for sitting with us as we mull over difficult
Give us a
ideas.
ramble score for this one too.
Yeah.
We appreciated you sending through our ramble scores.
Yes.
Got a lot of 9s and 10s.
We did.
On that episode.
I think we got an 11
Whoa,
ramble score.
I was pumped with that.
Yeah, it's really solid.
Loved an 11.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being here with us.
Any announcements we have? Not really.
The social media, no, that will be done by the time this is out. The
You'll
procrastinator.
still have a few days to get into the procrastinator.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, you'll have a few days to join the procrastination intensive. Because obviously I'm catering directly to procrastinators. I can imagine that you haven't bought your tickets.
Yes.
So this is just a gentle nudge. If you want to have a revolutionary 2.5 hours really facing why it is that you avoid the work that you want to do, that's going to be on a time that I can't tell you right now because of sprain brain.
I believe it's the 3rd of April.
Anyway, it's going to be really good.
But I could easily be wrong too because of sprain brain. And that'll be good time zone for Europeans and for Australians.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My AirPods just really want to connect to my GarageBand.
Okay, we need to wrap it up.
Okay.
All right. It's been really good to hang out with you guys. We love you. And we will see you next week.
Thanks for letting us be us.
Ciao.
Bye.